voice all over the places. He hopes to never give up on his dreams, to bring joy and even the facts to his last podcast every week and stream his friends to bring that energy like big booty claps. He never gets angry, but sure can get scared. With anime on his side, is always prepared, even though he's the grumpiest of bears. This bear is always cool in his chair. Till the end, his dreams always be rare. Cause he's coming after you and hopes you'll be there. To hope you'll have a good day, a good night, and as always have a good life. Much love. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Much love. Have a good night, good.
Alrighty then. Sorry, I was trying to get everything set up and going here. Make sure everything's going, everything's looking good. Everything looks good on my side, so let me just go ahead and do one thing. Oh man, yesterday, for whatever reason, I was streaming on Kick and on YouTube and on Twitch, and during the live giveaway, Twitch side of things just kept on crashing. And I had like over 12 or 15 people watching yesterday, which is pretty high for my channel. Of course, it was mostly because of a giveaway, but YouTube and Kick had no problems. Not a single problem of dropping my stream. But Twitch, it just kept on dropping me over and over and over again. That's where call me a nut job, call me, hysterical. I sometimes do think somebody's messing with my channel. This is the Bear Thought Podcast. We do this every Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We always, as always, the Corbo Ninja, and this is Body Self Theft Jade. Today we will be playing some D&D, the one-off. Hope y'all have been watching it. Hope y'all have been enjoying it. If you haven't already watched it, go watch it. Seriously, you'll see a big blue dragon. Her typing? Oh, yeah. I probably, got to change the other screen. This one. I forgot to click the button that switches the screen, but you still heard, well, you probably heard you probably didn't hear me one bit. Well, YouTube, go watch your last time's podcast, go watch last week's, D&D thing. For those who are on YouTube, this is the Marathon Podcast, every Friday at 5 o'clock p.m., CSC. CSC, Sister Standard Time? Yeah, that's it. Corvo Ninja, I'm the Grumpiest of Bears, and this distant body stuff there, Jade. We just repeat ourselves. It's okay. And for those who are wondering, why am I not on the Bear Thought Podcast Twitch channel? Because I'm probably gonna be changing that channel. Because honestly, I got like 15 followers on it. I'm gonna probably change it up and see if I can maybe turn it to something else. The thing about is like turning that channel just specifically into just like a channel talking about anime stuff and just like a just chatting stream. And like talk about manga, talk about anime figurines, just talk about just anime just in general, and see how just chatting and talking about that kind of stuff would be interesting to people, because apparently the podcasts on Twitch side don't get nothing. So I'm almost giving up on that channel. I don't even touch it. People do follow and subscribe, whatever that channel, but they can't subscribe because I'm not a partner or not a partner, affiliate on that channel. But people do follow. I never know about it because the alarm never goes off. So it's kind of like, eh. All right, so this week I don't really have that many complaints. We talked about a lot of things prior. I did talk to Corvo about this week. We got a barbecue grill, the first one ever, and it's a standardized 4-leg, square rounded top lid barbecue grill. It's just like it's nothing fancy about it, but it just feels like I've gone and done it and bought an adult thing. It's like I didn't buy a toy. Well, it just makes me feel like I can cook things that are different now. I love my ribs. That's a given. I would always prefer a flame cooked burger. That's just, I don't know anybody that said they would like, oh, I love a stove cooked burger. That I don't know. Maybe somebody out there that loves that more than a barbecue burger, but it's just too good. So my wife's like, oh, I want to get some hot dogs. I'm like, I want to get some sausage. Like, there's things I want to cook on there. And normally, as you well know, I don't like cooking. I cooked 15 years. I'm not cooking for nobody. Not even for myself. But you love cooking. You always say you love cooking. So like, mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yes, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Like I even looked up because I was curious because I've been craving. I don't know why. I've been craving, um, a fire stove or a fire brick stove cooked pizza. I don't know if you ever had one before, but something about it like just hits a little bit different. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm, yes. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, I was like wanting to eat some that kind of pizza, and I'm like, okay, I got a barbecue grill. Can you barbecue a pizza? Find out you can, and I never had one before, so now I'm curious about trying it out. 'Cause I'm like, it's like, yeah, yeah. There's a trick. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So cook it in first, then cook it in again, then cook it in again afterwards. Okay. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. We have a stone. I just don't know if it's. Well, it has to be fire. Has to be heat proof. But I just don't know if my wife got rid of it because I remember cooking on it like a. This is probably a year or so back, and I haven't cooked on it since because last time I cooked on it, it stuck to it. I'm like, I must have done something wrong. I never cooked on a stone before, so it was like one of you put it on it, put the pizza on it, and put it in the oven, and it just stuck to it like it was glue. I'm like, shit. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you gotta treat it more than once. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. What I mm, yeah. How many people actually have cast irons? We have one. We just gotta keep it, make sure like it doesn't. Yeah, we have one. My wife was like always wanting one, so one day I found one in the store, and I went back and bought it a couple like months later because she's always wanted one. I'm like, we're getting one. I think her grandmother had one too, but my wife didn't get it. So it was like it's kind of like that's not cool, but whatever. Um, but yeah, what I really want to get, cause I know you can't like I know you can make it, but I know that like to get the authentic stuff, you gotta pretty much order it. I want some, and that's people if people don't understand this. I'm a weeb. I am a Japanese enthusiast, and I went to Japan, and we had these meat skewers from Japan. Absolutely the most tenderest meat I've still remembered to this day. Juicy, flavorful, and it had just salt and pepper on it. That was it. But they use a special type of charcoal there that it's not in the States. Like the States, we have in bags black charcoal, right? Cubes or otherwise. But in Japan, they have a special method that they cook their charcoal, and it's white charcoal. And it has a different flavor palette than American charcoal. And I want to order me some of this because I want to make some meat skewers. It literally is just meat on some skewers, salt and pepper, and that's it. So simple, so easy, and it tastes so good. That's why I want to grill. I want to be some white charcoal. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you see that one. Okay, interesting. Yeah, he's always cooking it. Oh man, okay, okay. Ah, damn it. It's on.
Cut me off. Full story. I don't either. I don't know when it dropped off, but yeah, yeah, it happened. Cast iron pan, yeah. And different type and different types of charcoal. From an old guy up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. That, don't take it don't take it the wrong way. That just means it's gonna be funny as shit when we do D&D, because that means you're gonna get a whole lot of action that you ain't wanting, that you can't roll. Well, to be honest, if they're DOSing it, it'd be. I mean, the chances of DOS actually, it's hard for me to believe somebody's doing a DOS attack on the channel. Not saying they're not doing something. It's hard for me to believe it's DOS, and the reason being is there's so many easier ways to do it now than to do. But at the same time, anything like that would affect that channel should be affecting the other two as well. Because the way that works is it affects your connection. Okay? So, what I would be more inclined to say is that it might not be aimed necessarily at you, but more at that particular provider. You get what I'm saying? And it may have been programmed to run off an algorithm to look specifically for users that's using that provider with a specific threshold. Like, hey, if they break 15, fuck with them, you know. And it's just somebody being an asshole to all of you guys that are hitting that point. The reason I say that is because if it was just you would see degradation across all the platforms you're streaming, because that means they're aiming it specifically at you, which would mean they would have to be messing with your connection. So that's my thought on it. Now, is it possible that they could be aiming just at you and get just that one channel? Yeah, it is possible. Anything's fucking possible. But the likelihood of somebody deciding to say, hey, I'm going to fuck with his Twitch, but I'm going to leave his YouTube and Kick and everything else alone, that's not really, that's more of like an algorithmic thing. That's not a human thought process. That's something somebody programmed. Because a human, if they want to fuck with you, they're going to fuck with you across everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's
fuck with you all across.
right, because it's kind of like I told you I've been doing some training at work, and one of the things that was in the training that I was listening to was like, no matter how smart an AI is, it is not a person. So it will make certain mistakes. Like, let's say I want you to go out, and I program it to stop Grumpy Stream, right? Well, I didn't say all of Grumpy Streams. I said Grumpy Stream. So if the first one it finds is your Twitch, it's going to stop there because it's going to aim at that stream. It's not going to pay attention to the rest of them. Whereas a human doing the same actions is going to say, stop Grumpy Streams. I'm going to fuck all of them up because that's the way we think. So it's like a telltale sign, kind of like when specific individuals received a certain email. That email was more than likely written by an AI algorithm than a person, because a person wouldn't have made some of the mistakes that AI did. Which is why we can kind of nowadays spot like phishing attempts and stuff like that in emails easier, because you can see the inconsistency.
Always.
I mean, they're a little more obvious coming from an AI than they are a person, because a person knows how to talk to somebody usually. They know how to hide intent, but intent is not a thing with an AI. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm assuming, and again, the words that I choose, assuming that whoever wrote it didn't write it in a way for it to be intelligent enough to look for all platforms, just the first platform it seen that benchmark hitting, and it stops there and works on it there. It's like somebody was talking at work the other day about hackers and cybersecurity threat people, and how, you know, they're in basements all over the world doing this shit in the dark. And I'm like, that's not how that works. In reality, that's movie quality shit. But in reality, you know what a real cybersecurity group looks like? Every other fucking group in a building of office places. Matter of fact, they could be legitimately renting an office space right next door to everybody else, coming in suit and tie, sitting down, having meetings, drawing on whiteboards, assigning people, you know, this is your project, you get your group together, I want y'all to work on this, just like any other workflow, because that's how they work. They're not sitting in, I mean, I'm not saying there's not the one-offs that are sitting at home being assholes, but in most cases, successful hacking groups, they're not sitting in the basement. Them bitches, this is a job for them. They're going to a building, they're sitting down, they're having meetings, they're assigning groups of people to this task. They've got flow charts, and they've got Excels, and they've got applications that they're running. It's a business to them. They don't look like little boy Fauntleroy in a hoodie in the damn dark basement down there with a pocket protector and some damn picture on the wall where they throw darts at it because they're pissed. That's not. It's a misconception that has caused a lot of people to not get caught, because you don't expect them to look that way. it has to do with updating processes, and it also has to do with um, hardware
Sick.
effects. So, like for instance, let's talk about a fan for a minute. Okay, you crank up a fan, you run a fan, right? You know what the hardest thing on a fan is? The starting and stopping of the fan. Not the running. It's the starting and stopping. It's the initial power taken to kick it over to start it, or the sudden braking to stop it that is actually the problem. It causes wear and tear on the hardware a hell of a lot more than it just sitting there running. It's the same way with computer components. You have components in that machine that are running the entire time you're using it, right? Well, if you're shutting down every day, that means every one of those components are having to stop what they're doing every day. And then they have to reinitialize what they're doing every morning. That's a start and stop process that will literally wear the components out faster than if you just left them running. It's like a car as well. Do we have like a Japanese soundtrack in the background? And Asian music? She was just making sure because she was hearing something in the background and she wasn't sure if it was supposed to be there, and it was starting to bug her a little bit because she was like, is this shit supposed to be here? Is it not? I mean,
I'm sorry, but my ears will pick up on different shit and it bugs me because if it's not supposed to be there, then I'm gonna ask. If it is, then I'll just settle down. But
it's kind of like it's kind of like fuel consumption.
right, but I haven't been listening to it for several weeks because I've been in other places.
She's been running around the house. So, but like a car with gas consumption, you use the most fuel that you use usually with your car when you crank it up. Okay? Meaning that every time you crank it and turn it off, and crank it and turn it off, you're using fuel. So sometimes it's more feasible to let it idle if you're only sitting for 5 minutes waiting on somebody, or something. Moving parts historically get more wear and tear from the starting and stopping of use than they do the continual run of use. That's just how it works. It used to be really, really bad with PCs when you had like spinning platter hard drives, because them platters are spinning all day while you're working, and then you're sudden stopping. And then they're spinning all day while you're working, you sudden stopping them, and it just wears them out. It wears the shit out so much faster. It's one of the reasons why a M.2 or SSD hard drive tends to last longer than a spinning drive. It's purely because there's no moving component. So if you are starting and stopping, it's not as bad on them. It's also why server grade hard drives up until recently were still spinning platters, because they were designed to run all of the time. Stopping and starting them actually was a bad thing. Well, the trick to that is to slowly and methodically buy drives that don't have spinning components one at a time until you get enough, and then clone it all over to that and put them in instead. And then you take those others before they're broken and you put them in a safe so that you have backups. um, I'm in the position right now where I need to replace a drive on one of my NASs. It's not the one that you have access to, but it's my other one, my personal one that has a lot of personal data. It needs to be replaced. I just have not done it yet. That's probably not even you, dude. That is probably your service provider being overwhelmed at the moment. No, I mean, it's it's about the infrastructure. I mean, if they haven't had the budget to update the infrastructure, it doesn't matter how much you bitch. They can only do what they can do. Yeah, dry rotted. Is this a data wire or a power wire? Okay, depends on the type of cable because some of those cables have natural waves in them, and it's because of the way. Right. Some of them have natural waves in them, and those waves are not because of the jacket. They're actually because of the conductors inside of it. So it depends on the cable. That would be what color is it? Is it about as big around as your pinky? Okay, when it comes into your house, does it screw into your modem? But it screws in. Yeah, yeah. That's not even RJ. That's coaxial cable. Is what it is. There's a single conductor in the middle of it, and then around the outside of it, there's going to be a plastic sheath, and then around that, there's going to be a grid of copper wire, and then there's going to be a black jacket. So what that is a cable modem, kind of like mine. It can carry up to a certain amount of speed. Speed's not the issue. The issue can be it shouldn't be crinkled. Okay? Coaxial shouldn't be crinkled because it's a single conductor in the middle of all that. So your single conductor is what carries your data. That mesh wire around the outside, that's actually the ground for the wire.
Green is fully charged.
Yes. So I would have them take a look at it because if you've got little waves inside of that, you shouldn't have. Now, if you'd have told me it was blue, red, green, any of those colors where it could have been a cat cable with multiple conductors, I'd have told you that was normal. Yep. Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's probably a coaxial cable. They probably need to replace it because it's probably been there forever. Um, which means it's gonna be tapped off of a line that's running up close to the power lines. So probably yeah. So what they'll have to do is they'll have to go up there if they're smart. They'll go up there, they'll unscrew it from their line that's running through it, replace the ends on each side, replace the little tap, and then pull all new wire from there to your house to that box. In the power company terminology, whether it be coaxial, whether it be power, whatever, but when you have something coming off a line like that, dropping over like that, it's called a flying tap. The reason it's called a flying tap is because it's literally just hanging in the air, tapped off of the primary line. It's not a flying tap if it's literally comes off the line, runs down the pole, goes in the ground, runs over to your house, and comes up. But that's a flying tap. That's also anytime you get hard wind or a limb hitting it, you're going to have an issue. If that's bullshit. They're blowing smoke up your ass, because if they didn't seal it properly when they put it up there, because there's supposed to be a weather sealant that they put around those connection points where it screws into the tap. If they didn't seal it properly, every time the wind blows, every time a limb hits it, every time rain gets on it, it's gonna fuck with your connection. If it bounces, if it's enough weight, kind of like a limb hitting a wire, yeah. Yeah. Like a diagonal. Yep. Yeah. It's because there's no significant power on that line. It's data. That's all it is. And to a squirrel and a bird, it doesn't make a fuck if it is a power line. You know why that doesn't matter if they land on a power line? Because they're not fucking grounded. They're just sitting on the wire. Now, if a bird lands on a live power line and you touch that bitch in the ass with a stick and touch it to the ground, he's gonna know it. Because he's gonna be grounded at that point, and he's gonna be he's gonna be the path of least resistance. You know what I mean? Now, a good infrastructure, and I get that they can't do this everywhere. Understand that, because it depends on where your house is placed. Okay. But the best case scenario in most cases is they'll have that line coming in. It'll come by a pole, and on that pole they'll have a box that the line is going to go into. Screw into that same connector, come out of that same connector, and continue on. And then it's going to have a connector that goes down the pole under the ground and comes up at your house. And that box, when it's closed, it's sealed. So don't make a fuck what's on it, what hits it, what rains on it, or nothing. That is the best case scenario. But if your house happens to fall in a location that puts it between two poles, and that is not feasible, you get a flying tap. And a flying tap will cause problems. I should know, because I actually have a flying tap for my power line. So if a limb in a storm slaps my fucking power line, guess who ain't got power? And that bitch will do this right here. Whoop, 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 whoop. And you're like, the fuck? And see, that might not have been your tap. That may have purely been a transformer having issues and about to go out. It's weird. It also depends on what kind of configuration your transformer's wired in, but we're not going to get into that because I'm not teaching industrial electrical today. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons for the boosters. One, yeah, they can boost your speed a little bit, but they also create a security risk because those boosters and shit like that are not as well protected software wise as your modem, your router, or your switches or any of that. Because they're literally called a booster. They're a dumb device. Okay? They don't have any intelligence. All they do is pat the shit comes in, it ramps it up and sends it on out. Okay? There's nothing in there to say, hey, you can't access me or none of that shit. None for that. So if somebody knows where your booster is, they can tap your line. And two, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because a booster needs a power source. Well, that means you got to have power somewhere feeding it. That means they would have to put an outlet somewhere outside to power your booster,
Said.
which then puts you in a
BSV
situation
wears
where if I want to fuck
unscreenbook.com
with you, I
remove
just
the
walk by
space
and unplug your booster, you have no network.
SKFJCBQ.
So they don't like doing it because it's a security hassle. Plus, it's a hassle to have to put the power in. Someone on Twitter.
Talking about.
I guess you did because I don't see them on her screen.
Was it expanded runaway? Yeah, I already did it.
She already took care of it.
Fish, please.
Well, with where I work, we no longer have any boosters at work anywhere. And when I first started there, they were every fucking where. Because that was back in the
We have to be
Cat 3, Cat 5 days, and you didn't get as much fucking travel speed for data over long distances that you do now. Now, our entire infrastructure at work, the entire backbone has been upgraded. Everything. We have a 10 gigabit backbone, meaning at all times we can have up to 10 gigabits of speed. And get this shit, there's not a fucking thing in the company that requires 10 gigs.
And yet, yeah.
But what we have is a full gig to every workspace, up and down. But the problem with that is that even though we have all this bandwidth, we got a shitload of users. So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You got the backbone in place, you got the hardware in place, but the localized equipment for the users aren't load balanced well enough from the manufacturer to make it perfect. Now it's better than what it was. Trust me, it's way fucking better than what it was. But it's still not great. Like I remember when I started, I could go in and I could count the times of the day that my machine would slow down to the point that I might as well fucking get up and go get coffee. Now I don't have that issue. Now it is slower than what we want it to be, but I get tickled because we have users just like, yeah, it took 30 seconds to run this report. I'm thinking, you're bitching about 30 seconds. 5 years ago, you were bitching it was taking 15 minutes. But for fuck's sake, what do you want? We went from 5.
Lines?
Nope.
What did they say?
Nope. No. Because you still have the issue of one, you got to put a booster and you can't put it in the closet. You'd have to put a booster in every workstation, every single workstation. Putting that kind of thing in a cubicle with an end user, chances are 97% of them don't even know what the fuck it is.
And then
So if they bump it and it comes unplugged, now they're freaking the fuck out. Or if you have those people, heaven forbid, that know enough about it, they can tap into the fucking company line with their personal computer by simply unplugging and plugging.
Yeah.
And now they have effectively went around security measures and are on the network. You know, it's not safe, but to be honest, like I've said before, there is no 100% safe way to have a fucking network. I mean, you know what the most common way people break into a large company's network is? Take a guess. Take a guess. Has absolutely nothing to do with the security on the network or the devices. All it is a simple trick of, hey, I'm new, my hands are full, I can't reach my fob, can you let me in? And then they walk right in the fucking building, walk right over to a line, plug in, and off to the races. Oh, hell no. Hell no.
mainly because everybody knows.
It's because everybody knows everybody. If you walk up to any of my doors and you're like, hey, I'm here, I'm new, we're like, hold the fuck on a minute. And we close the fucking door back. You gonna stand there. We finna go validate. Because we very particular. We very particular. They tried one time. Unfortunately for them, there's a computer at my place of business and it runs something called Callie. And Callie's a bit of a bitch. And Callie likes her place to be her place. So anything that doesn't belong, Callie tends to nuke. Fucking you will buy new hardware. I shit you not. We tested it when we put it into place on an old machine. We had taken it completely off the network, rewiped it, everything, made it completely a foreign machine. And this damn thing overclocked the CPU on this person's machine so hard that it fried the CPU and damn near burnt the fucking drive. It shut the cooling fan for your CPU off and then ramped up the clock speed on it and just let it barbecue itself. Oh yeah. Callie, like I said, Callie's a bitch. Callie's a bitch. You want to come into her space, she comes into yours. And I got this new device at work that I have to keep locked up in a cage. I can only take it out when I have to. But it looks like a USB stick. But if I plug it into your computer and turn it on, it instantly wipes everything on the machine, non-recoverable. I know what Dolphins is. No. No. What this particular I love this little device because it literally looks like an average everyday USB key. But I shit you not, I can plug it into any machine, press the power button, and watch it delete everything you have to the point that you cannot recover it. It is unrecoverable. Oh shit! It don't take it. It doesn't have to lock a keyboard because it don't take it long enough to have to do that. By the time you plug it in and hit the power button, your shit is gone. And my new manager got every one of us that worked for him one of them because it'll speed up the process of wiping a computer so you can re-image it. That's what he sold it as. You froze. I got and then it's yeah, you're back. You said okay. You have wiped some of your SDs before and what? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Depends on how you configure the key. Mine is configured that it'll wipe everything to the point where I can reinstall an OS if I want to. But you're not recovering anything that it wiped. My other key, though, because I have to, my other key will wipe everything, including the BIOS on the machine. It is a brick. It is worth nothing. Yeah, the firmware for it is gone.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I, I told my manager when he gave me that key. I said I'm gonna lock it up in the cage unless I'm using it. He said, "Why? I trust you. You can keep it with you." I was like, "No, I can't." He goes, "Why?" I said, "You don't understand that the intrusive thoughts have already started, and there are many, many people in this building." And he goes, "Lock it up in the cage." Oh shit, that wasn't the right drive. My bad. Okay. I'm gonna go slice up some food, and then we can start calling when you're back. Bye, guys.